It is now my honor to sit down with two longtime hosts of the program, people who are mentors to me, Jim Cantelon, Moira Brown. Thank you so much for joining me today.
That's fun. I haven't seen him for quite a while.
Well, we're good old friends, but we're really good friends when we don't see each other. That's when it really works.
It's the love between you two that inspired us so much, and I know that you shared that love with David Mainse.
Well, David and I have been friends for years. I started broadcasting when I was 16, doing voiceovers for the old Crossroads show. And then over the course of my early development, as I started out pastoring, he often would bring me down to co-host or to guest. And then once I was in the Toronto area, I used to be down here a lot. In fact, I think I was here the day that they introduced you, Moira.
No, James, it was a little after.
No,
it was a little after.
I think that your memory is failing you.
Cal took a time out. You came in, and
Referee.
it was love ever after. Ever after.
If I were writing the book, I would say that I was there the day that Moira was.
You would need me there to edit.
Well, you'd be thankful because Moira gave us a great shot of you back in those days you were referring to. Take a look at this. Jim Cantelon with David, and there's Cal Bobby. Look at you.
I was very sick at the time. I had lost
a
lot of weight.
polyester suit?
No, that was a very expensive suit that someone had given me.
Okay, we're good.
I was not well there. I was not well at all.
You're very groovy.
Yeah, well, there you go. I had hair too, if you've noticed.
Well, let's start. Moira, I just want to start with you. Your favorite memory of David?
Well, let me just say, my phone rang all evening last night for people, Alberta, BC, wanting to share their personal connection with David. And one was a couple that went 2008. We helped lead a trip to Israel, and they were just reflecting on that. There was no more. No richer experience of David and Norma Jean's TLC than those trips to the Holy Land. There was nothing they would not do to make someone's trip better. But let me go back to 1988 and my being the first female regular co-host on 100 Huntley Street. I think that was a big leap for David. And I remember saying to him, David, thank you for trusting me. And he said, and I think this really shows his leadership, he said, I trust the Holy Spirit in you. And thank God he did. I mean, my life emerged, the best of my life. My husband was waiting here, my family life, my children, and my viewership, my family, many of whom I'm still connected with, all happened. Even this guy, because, even Jim. Because David took a chance on me, and I will be forever grateful. This is just a little thing. This is David being personally caring. When we were doing all our broadcasts out in the parking lot with the steel girders behind us, this building going up, and that was fun. We all had to wear hard hats. I had to have a personally made pink-toned hard hat from David.
And David made that for
you. He made that. At the farm.
I love that.
Brought it in for me.
I didn't have one because they couldn't find one big enough.
Yes, we know that story.
And just don't touch that.
Are we talking about your attitude? Or
no,
I'm so kidding. I was
talking about my head size. Just head size.
Jim, what's your favorite memory of David?
my history with David goes way back, but it has a lot to do with my father. My dad, Homer Cantelon, was a great champion of David Mainse back in the days when Crossroads was in its formative stages. And David was seen as a threat by a lot of pastors. They figured he was going to swoop in and rob them of their tithes and offerings for the sake of funding a television program. No kidding. Pastors are human too. And this trickled up to the top of the denominational ranks, and my dad was one of those executive members. And he stood alone and defended David, to the point where when he was leaving Sudbury, Ontario, to become a district superintendent of 300 churches, he handpicked David to be his successor. And the board of Glad Tidings Tabernacle Sudbury became the very first board of Crossroads Christian Communications. And there were times in the history of Crossroads where David was without friends. I mean, he was such an edgy guy, doing so many courageous things that scared the daylights out of people. But never my dad. My dad was a big, solid, godly guy, and he often used to say to me, David has a touch of God on his life, and I'm with him, and I'm with that. And I, of course, was with it too. And so
unstoppable. Jim, do you remember David went to Spain?
Yeah.
And he turned the program over to us. He
That's
was
right.
going to go to the farm,
Yeah.
maybe come in one day a week.
Yeah, we had it for
then-
about 2 years.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then he got his own words, God put steel in my backbone. And he came back at, I don't know what age he was then,
Yeah.
with just new fire, new fervor.
Yeah. I think the thing that really impressed me about David was his indefatigability. He wasn't just a visionary. The guy was full of energy.
Yes.
And he would project that energy. When he walked into the room, first of all the oxygen would disappear. And then once it kind of returned, people would get off the floor from fainting. But no, he would when we used to have audiences here, he would pump them up, big time. When he clapped, remember, double time
Double
clapping?
time.
Yeah. It's not enough to do this, Jim. You gotta. So make yourself sound like you're 10 people. But he was a showman in the pure sense of the word. He understood that there was an entertainment factor. Television is an entertainment medium as well as informational, and he was able to meld the two. And
look how much he hatched after his diagnosis.
well, yeah. I mean, the guy.
100 words, the seniors program. I mean, the list goes
He never
on.
stopped.
And he encouraged various language shows. He was a catalyst to European Christian television. In fact, the word that comes to mind for me with David was catalyst. He catalyzed stuff. And unlike, with respect, some of our friends south of the border, he was not all about him.
No, he launched so many programs from this platform. And now, as someone emailed me yesterday, a Canadian icon has joined the great cloud of witnesses. He's praying for us right now, and I think God has given him a peephole.
No, Moira, this
He's
is
watching.
a theological thing, but we'll leave it for now.
The great cloud of witnesses
People,
watching.
Okay, you
this is
two.
Moira's spin.
Okay, you two.
That's the Bible.
No, I believe about that. I'm just giving you truth.
We're calling in
Continue.
security. No, we brought them just for the two of you.
The thing is, absent from the body, present with the Lord. And I would think there's enough to keep his attention on the other side, that he's quite happy to have left behind what he's left behind.
Well, Jim, as we mentioned at the top of the show, you are going to be delivering the eulogy.
Not the eulogy.
The speech.
I'm the actual.
sermon.
I'm preaching.
You're preaching.
Others will be doing it. David said to me, I want Homer to do my funeral. This is my father. But Dad, unfortunately, died before that could happen. So he came to me and he said, no, I couldn't have your dad, so it's got to be you. But Jim, no eulogy. I just want the doctrine of salvation.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yeah, thanks very much. 15 minutes, doctrine of salvation. But
You can do it, Jim.
I've worked at it, and I'm a TV guy. I can
If
do
anyone could do it,
things to the second. But no, it's a great honor. It's going to be.
I'll be there holding up the time cards for
It's
you.
going to
Jim.
be someone has already threatened a hook. But, no, it's going to be an historic funeral. I mean, this is the passing of a 50-year era. This is not small stuff.
I know. Well, listen, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for coming in. Make sure you tune in to see Jim speaking at the funeral. You can watch it on Yes TV live, or you can stream it on yestv.com. Right now, we're going to go over to Maggie and Greg.